have to admit this. I'm spoiled richly in love, not soiled, and I can't let you poison me with strange water you've been sipping. After I already been tripping for 10 days too long, you got me hot and bothered, and I don't like it. Never wanted to like a man like this, except you. I want you, and I must admit I always wanted to, want just you. But I never knew what I was asking for. Now that I closed our doors, the only one open is you. You keep inviting me, I'm hiding, still having a temper tantrum, still not ready to settle down with you, because there are some things that you do that I still don't agree. Don't agree that marriage will help us connect money to keep the money. And the action of consenting to receive or undertake something that's offered, such as the sex that you wish to have with me, I have to politely decline every time, because you're not coming at me with what appeals to me, which would be building an empire, building a legacy. See, have no time for receiving energy frivolously and for no reason. I would not be acquiring. No negativity will be coming to me to undertake me, to take me out. Nope. I'm favorable, receptive, and I embrace and approve this message that I'm adopted in the family of God. I integrate God in everything that I do because I'm in agreement and alignment with Him. It's not just a belief with me. It's not just an ideal or an opinion. It's my explanation for having the state of mind that helps me to have the peachy panties that I create. See, because I got 52 reasons to keep my legs closed. And it has nothing to do with getting a ring on my left hand. It has nothing to do with attracting some man. It has nothing to do with nothing to do about nothing but me and how I feel about me. And right now, as peaceful and happy and content as I could be at a time like this with me means I don't need you to come over here and dump all your insecurities on me. I ain't got time for that. Good evening, or should I say good morning? It's 4 a.m. I know, I'm up early. So I thought I would jump on and, do this at a time that who knows who's up at this hour with me. But I wanted to talk about the Peachy Panties You Create because I'm so excited. I can't sleep, right? I'm so excited about the Peachy Panties You Create, 52 Reasons to Close Your Legs, because it's so open. It's the book itself, writing the book, experiencing the journey of journaling this Peachy Panties journey. And we have been on this journey for a very long time. 2009 was my coming out year, my come out of Egypt, my come out of slavery year. And I'm so glad I did. Of course, I'm not perfect. I do, I will have my little slip ups and things. And you read the book, you get to hear about that because it's a journey, right, that I wrote about as I was going, because I had every intention to not go back into Egypt. So once I made my mind up, January 2009, that, you know what, I've had enough of dating. I hated dating. I hated the results I was getting from dating. And I hated the games that seemed that was like common. So I shut all that down. I shut down all demonic surveillance. That's what I call that. Where people get your information and then they tell you, okay, well, we don't need to use you, or whatever.
to me, it's like one of those jobs, and they get you to come in and you work and you give your best, and at the end of the year, they're like, not only are we not going to give you a raise, but you know what, we're going to cut you off. You know, we're firing you, so they let you go. And so I never wanted that to happen to me, so I always like knew how to work. So ever since I was 10 years old, I would find ways to work and make money. And since I started so early on entrepreneurship, it just stuck with me. And then I just taught it to my children. And so they think like entrepreneurs naturally. They're not thinking like, I need to get a job, you know. And if they do, they get jobs. You know, I have one child that has a job. Yeah, my son, he has some jobs, but he really is a businessman. So he's a salesperson. So he get the job benefits, and then he gets the sales benefits. So I'm serious about being an artist. I have 3 artists as well, 3 children, 3 artists. Okay, and they're all entrepreneur minded. Right, they're not thinking anything about what company they want to work for when they grow up. They're not thinking anything like that. They're thinking, what company would they like to own? So I said all that to say, they inspired me to write the Peachy Panties You Create 52 Reasons to Close Your Legs, because I'm not perfect. I was a typical mother that was learning, you know, how to live without being married. I was a single mother at some point. Not that I had like a journey of where I was the only one that bared the burden, or I mean, it wasn't my children on a burden, but you know how I needed help with babysitting and things so I could work. I always had that type of help, and I had financial helps, financial support, and I had family to help on both sides, right? So I've been blessed, right? But I made a lot of mistakes, a lot of bad choices along the way. And I just don't want other young ladies to make the same bad choices that I made coming up because of how I felt about myself. And then I like looked up, and here I was, in 2009. I was pregnant with my third child, and I was not married, and I already did not like being divorced, and here I was pregnant again, not married, and not pregnant by my ex-husband. And it just, I had to like surround myself with nothing but the love of God during that time in my life. And if it was not for my church family and for this group of women called the Precious Women's Ministry, if it, I don't know what my life would have ended up like, honestly. Like, if I had not, you know, surrendered my life, my heart to God at that moment, and a baby, you know, surprise, you know, I don't know, you know, what my life would have been like. So I have to thank God for my journey, every step of it, every day of it, everything that I lost, that I had to sacrifice, because I did lose it all to win Christ. And at the end of the day, all I want is Christ. I really enjoy waking up in the morning, and God wakens my ear up every morning, talking to me before I'm even, you know, awake. He wakes me up, speaking to me. God speaks to me. And that's the most important thing. That's the most important thing, is that I have that connection with my creator. And I had to have that connection in every everything, every relationship. And if anything is not of, that type of substance, I don't want it. So it took a long time. It just wasn't a matter of like in 2009, I said, God, I've had enough of this life and I no longer, want to live like that. And I just got out. Boom. I was straight. I mean, the crossover wasn't that kind for me. It was extremely like a warfare battle, like a battle, constantly in warfare. And I hear people like I listen to a lot of people on Facebook. I watch pastors and preachers, and evangelists, and teachers. And if you're on Facebook and you got a good word, a good positive word, I listen to you, right? Because I don't watch the news. I don't watch TV. I watch very little TV. Sometimes when I go to my clients' houses, of course, they have TVs and they're watching movies. So that's when I get TV and movies, Netflix, and all that kind of stuff. It's when I go to my clients' houses because while they're getting their hair done, they would like to entertain themselves. So me, when as far as entertainment goes, like I entertain myself because I'm so diverse in so many different creative skills. There's so many things that I can do that I get lost in my creativity. And I love my creative world. And I just really just would hate for somebody or some relationship to take me out of my creative world, right? So these days, after, you know, I separated myself from that old life, these days, I want nothing but good to come to me and my children. And so I try to do the best that I can to treat people the best that I can. I mean, I'm not perfect, but you know, I do the best that I can while I can. So the bottom line is that I wrote the Peachy Panties You Create 52 Reasons to Close Your Legs to highlight, you know, issues in the family as well as to change the value of the family, change how we value family, change how we value our friends and our associates or our business, change how we value our skills or ourselves or our God. I think that's the depth of Peachy Panties You Create, is to get in touch with the source that created your peachy panties, And Peachy Panties is not just a woman's topic. It's not just a woman's book. It has nothing to do with that part, It's not highlighting one individual sex. It's sex is male and female. So this book is addressed to male and females because we need to really look at ourselves and look at the results that we're getting, and like really ask ourselves if that's what we wrote down that we wanted to get. And then when you realize like, oh, that's not what I wrote down, you need to be able to stand up and say, okay, this is not according to what I wrote down, because according to what I wrote down, I'm supposed to be able to do X, Y, and Z, and I can't do that in this situation. Okay, well, according to this journal that I wrote in 2016, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, well, I got to get on that. I got to get on what I'm supposed to be doing. Right, and so in this kind of world that we live in, it's full of distractions. It's full of things to do, places to go, people to see. You can really get caught up into something. Like I remember years ago, there was this game on Facebook. I think it was called. That's interesting. I was addicted to that game. I'm trying to think what it was. Mm. You go up these different levels. You like. It reminded me of Tetris a little bit, but it was a little bit more cool because you can swipe with your finger or something. Well, anyways, I used to do that game. I wish I could remember the name of it. I got all the way up to like level 260 something. And my brother, he when I got up into the 200s, this is when my brother saw me playing this game one day, and he was like, "You're playing that game?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm on level 200 and whatever I was at." And he's like, "Normally, you wouldn't even participate in something like that because that's doing something to your brain. It's got to." And when he said that, it just like rang a bell because I had at that time recently had I took a biology class, and a book that we had to read was called "What the Internet is Doing to Our Brains." And so when my brother made that statement, I was like, "Oh, you know what? You're right." And I quit playing the game that same day. Now, normally I don't break a bad habit that fast, but with that, I did because I was like, I don't want something affecting my brain and I don't know what it's doing. Even if it's 1,000 things in society that does that on a daily basis, and I'm not aware of it yet, but every little thing that I discover is absorbing my energy that I need, okay, to apply elsewhere to my business or to writing, to taking care of my children, to working my business, to building up a network, to building up an empire. Something I needed to be doing other than I could have did a vision board, right? Other than sit up and with on my phone some game. So I once I stopped playing that game, I realized that there was so many different things that I was doing to distract me from really being productive, right? It wasn't wrong. Watching the news is not wrong. But what's not right is to sit up and listen to a bunch of negative stuff that you can't do nothing about, you didn't see happen, and you're never going to hear about it again after that 1 minute and 30 seconds that they just gave you of that horrible wreck on the highway. They didn't tell you nobody's name and you didn't know them or anything like that, but boom, you got this vision in your head of that, right? So that part is what you want to control is the influx of information and data that can just hit you, like little bits of information over a long period of time of you absorbing little bits of information over a long period of time. It's going to lead to a starburst somewhere. You know what I mean? Like it's going to give way into your consciousness. So it'll seep into your subconscious and then it'll just come out into your consciousness. And then you'll behave in some kind of way where you're like, I don't even know why I did that. See? But so everything is about, to me, the way that the world and everything is going, it seems like everything's shifting to a higher level of consciousness. Like we have to eat better. We have to take care of our bodies. We've been conditioned in these last 30 days about nutrition, about health, about finances, and like family, and what's important and what's not important, and what you need to keep and what you need to throw away. And it should have already been done because some of us been working on our list for a long time, but who would have known that I still had things lingering, that I needed to calm down, and I needed to relax, not feel like the hustle bustle of the city. And I had just kind of been running on that frequency for a long time, and to the point where when things would slow down in my life for a little bit, I would almost feel like depressed, because I'm not extra busy. So 2019, it was the first year that I stretched out my busyness, so I wasn't extra busy. I was productive. So it was a different level, and I really like that pace, right? To kind of slow, not really like I slowed down, but it seemed like more of I stretched it out, right? Instead of trying to do 1,000 things at one time and not realizing I can't even focus on all those things I had going on all at once. And it did sound overwhelming for me to even tell somebody that I had 3 jobs, 2 children to take care of, and I was a full-time student. Like, I was tripping. Like, thank God, he always causes me to triumph through crises. I thank God that he made a way where I slowed down from that fast, hurry pace that I was going at. And I'm thankful now that I'm reading the book, The Peachy Panties You Create, 52 Reasons to Close Your Legs. It shall be out on Amazon this weekend. I'm so excited. So, why I felt like this book was relevant at this time, it's always been relevant since I've been writing the book, actually. What made it one, I intended to publish in December, January, February, March, April. I was like, I did not choose an April date. How about that? I was like, okay, when God say send, that's when I'm doing it. So when I just really felt it in my spirit to go touch my book again, that's when I did. And the touching of the book that I did again, it was not editing it. It was not altering the words or anything like that. So the book just is what it is since January, right? But it was the first time I read it. So when I read it, I was reading it to someone, and they they was like, "Oh, this is good. Ooh, read some more. Ooh, 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 ooh." The whole time, they were so excited. Me, I was like, oh wow, ooh, that's pretty interesting. I wanted to have discussions, based on what I was reading. And so when I loved that person, and I was like laughing to myself because I was like, you know what, if my situation and circumstances had been anything different, I would not have had time to read that book to that person, to have taken the time to read my own material, to see that, wow, that's what it is. That's what the Peachy Panties You Create, 52 Reasons to Close Your Legs is. Wow, it was so what I was not expecting. And the odd thing was is that I wrote the book, and when I started reading the book to that person, I started reading it from the end to the beginning. And then, it matched. It made perfect sense. It was like, that's the way this book needs to be read. And that's what I wanted. That's the way I wanted my book to be set up. Is I wanted to write the book just like that, where what I wrote at the beginning is really my end, and what I wrote at the end is really my beginning. Maybe other authors do that. This is the first book that I've published, and it's really a work of art. like in every kind of way. Like I don't think I may have a few spelling mistakes, but I don't think so. I've been doing spell checker all along the way, so I haven't seen any spelling mistakes or anything, or I catch them as I'm typing. But I'm so excited about it because I feel like there are going to be some women and girls and some men and boys that'll be set free. I feel like maybe if someone's getting abused in their home with a husband, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a neighbor, a cousin, an uncle, an aunt, or whatever, I feel this book will help somebody that's in trouble. This is not for everybody. Like tonight, I set up and I started writing, to my audience because I'm building my audience, and I'm creating my social media campaign. And as I'm creating a campaign and I'm choosing topics and I'm thinking about my audience, I'm really thinking about like who could benefit from this book. So as I'm reading the book to different people to get an opinion of what it is, I'm choosing people that I perceive would need the book, right? I haven't just put it in. I mean, I have some regular, I have editors, but in addition to them, I wanted to see, does this book work for who I intended the book to work for, right? And it's not just for me, right? Because it's me. These are my story. This is what I did. This is how I made it through. This journal that I did, this dream that I had to become a published author in 2020. I said that in 1996, 1997, that in 2020 I will become a published author because that's my dream job is to be a published author, lecturer, teacher, and a good mother. Like, so everything else in between that I had to journey through, sometimes I was bad for a day and then I asked God to forgive me and that was it. Sometimes I struggle for a week. Sometimes I struggle for a month. Sometimes I struggle for a year. Sometimes I struggle for a decade in some things. But no matter what, he always brought me out. God did. And I say God, I give it to God because at the end of every day, you do have your thoughts, right? You have thoughts that you can think that you can pretty much control, right? But one time I had surgery, right? And before I went to surgery, I prayed. And they had to knock me unconscious while I was in surgery. And when I was coming out of surgery, I could hear the doctors talking, but it was like I was asleep. You know what I mean? Like, I know what it's like to be unconscious and conscious that you're unconscious. So think about that. Um, so if you think about that deeply, that was God. When I was out, that was speaking to me, that was allowing my ears to hear the doctors speaking of me, that was God because of what the doctor said. That was God. He intended for me to know and understand and know that. happened to me. And the doctor did nothing bad or nothing like that. It was just that the situation, it set the precedent for how I decided I would be as a person that's a published author. I had made my mind up when I came out of that surgery what kind of life I wanted to live, and that somehow, some way, I was going to shake every tree in my garden. And if it was not producing good fruit, I was going to uproot it, and it had to go. And so that's exactly what happened. I was able to let go of trees that were not producing, that was in my garden. And when I did that, mm, I started singing like a free bird. So anyway, I came on here today to talk about the Peachy Panties You Create 52 Reasons to Close Your Legs. It's coming out this Saturday. I'm so excited. Okay, so I just finished up everything and I'm about to send that to press. Um, Hopefully, this book not only changes the value of family, but it helps other people find their story, find a way to journey through their life and through their psyche, through their mind, and journey through their behavior, watch their actions, watch, who are you talking to, who are you listening to, pay attention to who's around you, what's the conversation, what are they talking about, how are they growing, how are they living, and does that match with where you say you going, what you say you doing, what you say you about. And so with all your get, I used to always hear this, and I really get it, right? But there's this, I think it's a proverb. It says, "With all you're getting, get an understanding." And so I was like, now I understand that everything that I can do, I should not. Okay, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Yes, He does. But what I've been asking God to do for me lately is help me at the very beginning of it when you said no, pause, reflect, warning, warning, warning. Let me just get the warning the first time. I just see it from a distance and I just keep on driving. Okay, let me not park my car over there. So that's been the prayer that like now, like that's where I'm at. So another thing is I am going to come out with the audio version of the PG Panties You Create. It's going to be slightly different than what we started off with here today. This is the ebook, and then we'll do the paperback. So the audio is going to be a little different because I have to put my artistic flavor on it. And I'm an artist, I'm a poet, so I have to do that. So I have one more piece that I like.
Ashes to ashes. Slavery was the story. I left you for a white man, and he is right. Your ability to manipulate, deceive, and exploit me used to be attractive. Your lack of empathy, I left 2 years ago. You were so focused on your goals. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. You were so focused on your goals and interest in economic movements, developed social movements, birthed a progressive movement, stimulated the women's movement, encouraged the Renaissance movement, which born the entertainment movement, fueled all these religious movements, funded the political movements, brought military movements, took global advancement movements to own the electromagnetic spectrum, affecting eardrums, incomes, family outcomes, homes, and nations. Whenever in history did the world news, radio, and TV get it right, biblically? Why can't we see that we are the generation that shall see this word fulfilled? Why do we play? Is this the way that we have been conditioned to behave? Is this the way that we have been conditioned to behave? Your Machiavellian issues, your duplicitous interpersonal style stimulates my nice smile. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, listening critically, carefully, deciphering what you really saying. I know in a cynical way you disregard what's morally right on the business side of the game. Every day I wake up and look up to the sky and think, thank God, because it could be 1943, 1954, or 1842, right before Civil War led to civil unrest, civil politics, and civil social movements. Is this the way that we have been conditioned to think and behave? Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I do not participate in united lust. Greek truths to introduce me to miseducated, politically orchestrated social movements made along rusty roads, made of concrete bank trusts. So, nope, I don't trust in or lust in the wealth of the nations. Truly, I am the chosen generation that shall see the kingdom come and his will be done on earth as it is in heaven. I have seen enough of the mockery to the point that it is not shocking. So, nope, I will not be getting in bed with you to become one as if we loved each other like that. I remember you and the sound of whips, the feeling you left me with, even though your skin is as chocolate as mine. I will waste no time building your empire or your business. I'm still standing, striving to be like Jesus, a poor, righteous teacher. Poor, righteous teacher. Yet you leechers pretend to be leaders, too rich to enrich, too plugged in to give to the needy without publicity, without a press release or an announcement on TV. You too greedy to improve any community, too smart to use intellect to progress with which is backwards because you educated. Even though you passed every class, I can tell you cheated the way you try to cheat and deceive and beat those you believe are lesser than you amongst your own race. It's a disgrace. And I'm through. Done with all that black middle class bullshit. I'm finished with it. I'm not helping again. I can't afford to work with you on discounts and favors. Making deals with handshakes and secret gestures. That's how you eat. Feed off the needy. Work as pillars in the community. You, the pastor, the principal, or police. You, an attorney, accountant, and administrator. You, the military officer, retired vet, the tax preparer, the food truck man, or regular businessman. The teachers, government workers, and retired baby boomers. Y'all are the main consumers of your own. And that's why since 2010 I've been done.
Okay. I wrote that. I don't know. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I do not participate in United Lust. Greek choose to introduce me to orchestrated, politically orchestrated social movements made around rusty roads, made of concrete bank trusts. So nope, I don't lust in, trust in wealth of the nations. Truly, I am the chosen generation that shall see his kingdom come and his will be done on earth as it is in heaven. I have seen enough of the mockery to the point that it is not shocking. So, nope, I will not be getting in bed with you to become one. It's if we loved each other like that. I remember you and the sound of whips, y'all trip. I never want to take. So I would not be joining in no midday protest 2 or 3 weekends. Nope. Would not show up for no weekly meetings to discuss century old beatings with them old foreign greetings. You know you don't know 3 words. I just want to be set free. Set free. Set free. Like Jesus Christ said, indeed, without everybody, that's not going to heaven. Riding along with me. I don't have time for that. So, everybody think they going to heaven. Everybody think they're a child of God. Everybody get on that fence real quick. Do the work then. How about that? Do the work. Find out what word God need, that part, and then do that. Do what God need with the work He need done out here. Go do that. Okay, go do that, and don't tell nobody that you did it. That part. Okay, so because I feel as far as like religion, I'm not religious, but I'm Christ conscious, right? I seek the kingdom of heaven, God, Yahweh, and the depth of that part, that the depth of the Hebrew aspect of it, like whatever is original. I seek that. Um, but I feel that here in the US, we have and some people say, oh, this one culture is practicing cultural appropriation, where I totally disagree because I feel like the culture is made up over here. Like it's made up a little bit of everybody else's stuff. So how could we say something is just, you know, cultural appropriation? Or maybe they doing it just because, but I mean, people do that all the time. Like I hear a lot of black women. That's just, I mean, I feel for everything in nature. Like if a butterfly flies past me, I stop and look at it. I see birds, they all decide they're gathering together and having a meeting. I stop and watch that. I'm just amazed by God's creation on a regular basis. And I feel that the reason why I have this kind of peace now where I'm more in tune with nature and I do stop and smell the roses, stop and look at the birds and the bees and the trees. Where at some point in my life, I was real busy. I was too busy for that. But now I take the time for that because I think you don't want life to swallow you up and then you look up and you're like, I can't remember the last time I seen a butterfly. You know, that means you're moving too fast. You can't remember the last time you seen some birds gathering together, or the last time you saw water moving, like at a lake or, a large body of water at the ocean or something. And some people like always think like, oh, they're gonna go on vacation and they need to go away on vacation. No, sometimes you need to just go on vacation in your closet, your prayer closet. Sometimes you need to go on vacation away from everything and everyone and just talk to God. It's my go to. It's my go to thing. It's like I need that in my life like water. Like sometimes I'll say I am the woman at the well. It's like I was thirsty and I was looking for Jesus and one day he found me and he told me all about my life and he said it in such a loving way that I began to love me and my life too. And I began to love me. As the more I love how Christ loved me, the more I could love me. And even the things about me that I at some point was ashamed of. That's why I used to be quiet, right? It's like I'm going around people now and they're like, wow, you really do talk, or you really are informative, or you really know, or you think you know something, or whatever. And it's like, I let everybody know I don't think I know anything. That's why I stay in the house in books, reading all the time, and going to school all the time because reading is fundamental. But that's how you get past the eighth grade reading comprehension level. I'm just saying that's how you do it. So that's all I was doing, is doing what I needed to do, right? So that I can love what I look like, even if it is my natural hair, right? I want to love what I look like. And I want other people to love what they look like too, especially since I work with people in the public sector. That's the main reason why I wrote the Peachy Panties UCREATE 52 Reasons to Close Your Legs. It ended up being about that particular topic because as a hairstylist over like the 20 something, like 25 years that people have sat in my chair and gotten their hair braided, gotten their hair serviced in any kind of way, a haircut, a hair color, a relaxer, twist, dreads, whatever, a set. I've got getting your hair curled, getting your hair shampooed. I've done all kinds of hairstyles. So many people sit and they tell you their problems and things, and then back in the day in my 20s, well, I didn't know anything to tell them. I would just listen, while they were telling me about their situation, and I really couldn't relate because I was young and I hadn't had any life experiences, right? So I used to not really be able to help anybody that was telling me they needed some help. And one day somebody was telling me they needed some help, and they were like thinking like I could help them like right then. Like they asked me what I want to be when I grow up, and I was like, I want to be a counselor. And so they just thought like, well, practice on me. I need a counselor. So they started, telling me what they dealing with and things. And I felt like immobilized, really. Like I couldn't even tell them anything because I wasn't that old. They were older, they were in their 40s. I was in my 20s. And I mean, like at the beginning of my 23, and grown people, older people, they were like telling me about their life and asking me questions. And really, I don't give out advice. I don't give out advice. I don't tell people what to do with their life, right? Because I don't like people telling me what to do with my life. But what I do is I listen. And a lot of times, with just listening, they solve their own problems most of the time. But if they do need me to interject with wisdom, I will. But I normally ask questions a lot of the time so that they can find the answer inside themselves. Like, and then I may repeat what they just said. Like, I do it like that because when I went to counseling, that's kind of like how they did it. And then um, the fact that I've been doing this type of work for a very long time, like since I was 10 years old, when adults first started telling me their business, and I would sit and listen, and then I would interject with wisdom every once in a while. Um, I don't know how. Don't know how to fix a car. Don't know how to fix the stove, don't know how to fix lights, don't know how to work construction, don't know how to do engineering, don't know how to make a car. I don't know how to do a lot of stuff. It's a whole lot of stuff I don't know. A whole lot. But every day that I can, I get up and I try to find a way to learn about something new. I try to challenge my mind every day to learn something new so that I don't just know what I knew the day before. I wish everybody thought like that. I wish everybody did that, but they do not. So my other one that I like
On
is this
Peachy
one. And
Panties.
then I'm going
When
to
I was
log off.
young, oh how
Y'all
I
have a
longed to
good
make such a
day.
statement.
It's April
Oh how I
21st,
wish I
Tuesday.
had boldness and the audacity to write exactly what I think and speak it like a gift. Though this voice has been with me a long time ago, I chose to grow into the form of woman I always aspired to be. And that is a virtuous woman. Even if I lose everything, I won the victory. I won the victory in my peachy panties. Oh, yes, I remember one time in 1997, I wrote a poem about where is my man. And then when they all ran after me, I ran back to the microphone with, they see me and think, oh, freak. At least at the time, I perceived men to look at me in lust, and I kept running to my friend who let me be me unseemingly. Unseemingly. With my homies, I can smoke, drink, play dominoes, shoot pool, watch the game, and fight for free. They just let me be. I don't have to wear heels, red lipstick, wear weave, or earrings. They allow me to be low key, even though we all know one day I will outgrow this level of complacency. I will have to move away from the safe place of barbershops and game rooms. Barbershops and game room. One day I would have to journey back to the place within me and find comfort and peace loving me and my peachy panties. Peachy panties are so important to me. I took a break, a siesta, a vacation from being touched, didn't get pedicures, facials, hairdos, and doctor visits. I limited people touching me for a time until I could look in the mirror and just see me and love what I'm looking like. I just love what I'm looking like. I see beauty in my peachy panties. I take value in my valley because it's mine. Came with my body, which came with my mind. To my womb, I promise to be kind. I have no time for misunderstandings with a man about my womb and my body connected to my blood flow, heartbeat, hormonal balance, mental stability, spiritual connectivity, heavenly mission, divine purpose. I know my worth. I know my worth. Yes, finally, I agree with the Ark of the Covenant and the Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey. Don't need no ninjas touching me, trying to suck my spiritual energy out of me, leaving me depleted. I refuse to be defeated mentally because I succumb a little bit of time over there instead of focusing over here and sacrificing until I'm back to zero reference. Now I get it. The peace, the loving kindness, the trust, the truth, set free. Set free. You hear me? I'm not bound by others' limitations. I am meek. I shall inherit the earth.